Well, I'm about to hop into a story I wanted to share, Noah's Ark, with you. It's my continuing little thing. I'm doing a little series with Bible stories, so I think that's fun. And nobody has to watch it, but it's out there if someone does want to learn. And that's why I show the exact readings that I'm, reading from as a reference, because it's fun to be able to learn these stories. And it's just, there's so many of them, and they're so wonderful, and they teach us so many wonderful lessons. So I thank Jesus for each and every word in that Bible. He knew exactly what it was going to be today, is what I feel like. And that is why I believe his true word comes through each one of our King James Version, NIV. God has a purpose and a plan for all of us. And I know that he said Jew and Gentile, that we could both, be saved. And he created us for that purpose, But anyway, let's jump into the story. Also, someone told me to slow down, so I'm going to try. And it's Friday, and I kind of had a rough moment today, but God got me through it. Stress does nothing. It does nothing but waste time. So just go to God. Cut the stress out. Go to God, and it'll alleviate your issues, I promise. This is coming. These stories are in the front of the Holy Bible, Southwestern. It is a 1962 edition, so I really like it. But of course, I have other Bibles to reference. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Adam and Eve had other children besides Cain and Abel, and then they had grandchildren. Before many years passed, there were people in great numbers on the earth. Although some of the people, like Abel, tried to obey God, many did not want to listen to him. These wicked people got worse and worse, and more of the good people began to follow their example. As time went on, nearly all the world was evil. When God looked at men, he was sorry he had ever made them, and he decided to destroy these bad people with a great flood. The Lord knew, however, that there was one good man living in those days. His name was Noah. Although everyone around him was doing wrong, Noah would have nothing to do with them. He remembered God and taught his 3 boys, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, to obey him. The Lord wanted to save Noah, so he told him to build a great ship called an ark. He told Noah the kind of wood to use and the size to make the boat. It was to have a great door and 3 decks. There were to be rooms inside for the people, pens for the animals, and storerooms of food for all. For many years, maybe 100, Noah worked on the ark, believing that God was going to send the rain someday. While he worked, he tried to tell those that made fun of him that God was going to destroy them unless they quit doing wrong, but no one believed Noah and no one changed. Finally, the ark was finished. God told Noah to go into the ark and to take with him his wife, his sons, and his sons' wives. He also sent Noah a pair of every kind of animal and bird on the earth to put in the ark. When they were all inside, God shut them in. For 7 days they waited in suspense, and then it began to rain. It rained as it had never rained before, as though the windows of the sky had opened. The oceans began to rise over the land, and all the rivers and lakes overflowed their banks. Soon all of the land was covered, and the people had to run to the mountains for safety. But as the water rose higher and higher, finally even the mountaintops went out of sight. Everybody had drowned. Only Noah and those who were with him were safe. The ark floated on the waters and had no shore, while God himself watched it and kept it from harm. For 40 days and 40 nights it rained without stopping, and when God caused it to stop, the water, however, remained on the earth for many days, until he made winds to blow over it and help it dry. Gradually, the water got lower until the ark quit floating and rested on the high mountains of Ararat. Then the other mountain tops began to appear. One day Noah sent out a raven to see if there was any dry ground, but the raven could fly for a long time, and it found dead things to eat, so it never came back. Later he sent out a dove, but the dove likes to rest in the trees and eat the seeds. And he came back when he found no tree. After a week, Noah let the dove fly out again. This time it returned with an olive branch in its beak. Noah knew that the waters had gone down enough for the trees to put on leaves. When he let the dove go, after another week, it never returned. Noah knew that the time of the flood, which had lasted a whole year, was over. He opened the door of the ark, and out poured the 8 people and all the animals that God had saved. What a beautiful sight for the fresh, green earth must have been to them after being closed up so long. How grateful they must have been for God keeping them safe. The first thing they wanted to do was thank God. So Noah made an altar and burned an animal sacrifice on it as Abel had done. God was pleased with Noah and his sons, and he made a promise to them that he would never again destroy the earth with such a flood. Until the end of the world, he would keep on sending days and nights, spring, summer, fall, and winter, as a sign of his promise. He set the rainbow in the clouds. It is made when the sunlight shines on the raindrops in the air, and is reminded them of today, and we can remember it and thank God and his pledge. Oh, and thank God, God's pledge. This same promise belongs to us every time we see a rainbow in the sky. What a wonderful, wonderful story. Thank you, Jesus.